What's up, everybody? This is the list of my favorite YouTube channels. I'm not even gonna stall. Let's get into it. Let's go. Like I said, I decided to do a video of my favorite YouTube channels. One thing I love about YouTube is the algorithm. I mean, it's really all that they have. Besides a lot of creators, the algorithm has the ability to really show you what you like to see. Now, of course, a lot of us subscribe to channels, you get recommendations from people, you come across sites on other social media, but you have to admit a lot of what you watch is what pops up into your recommended channels. And that happened for me. When I thought about doing this list, I actually came up with 40 channels, and I'm probably subscribed to 35 or so of those automotive YouTube creators. And I said, well, I can't make a video about 40 automotive YouTube creators channels. So I started whittling it down to like my favorite channels. And what I mean by favorite is I kind of don't miss an episode that they post, and I watch their videos from beginning to end. I don't have a really short attention span. And not only am I entertained by the people I watch, I kind of learn too, because I'm kind of an automotive YouTube creator myself. I think I have my own style, but I appreciate what some of these guys do. What I did is I broke them down into different categories, and I have like 5-ish categories. One thing you're gonna notice is there's a lot of overlap between my categories, because really what I found about my algorithm and what I like is I like to be entertained. So something you're gonna notice is I don't have any how-to channels. I don't have any guys that are like more like engineers, builders that are building builds and creating YouTube content. Mine are more attractive to people like myself that vlog, that capture content and create some of their own content and post. So the first two categories are, I call it like personalities. These guys are like drivers, more first, and YouTube personalities. And the second one is vloggers. And you'll see why I have them categorized this way, but I think there's some crossover. Let's jump into it. So we're actually gonna start with TJ Hunt. I really like TJ Hunt. I discovered him probably 3 years ago, and I didn't start watching him consistently until maybe about a year or so ago. I really love his body kits, and a few people I know here in Houston with Supras, they got their wing and his wing and stuff like that, and that's what really made me start paying attention to him. I love his style. I also like the fact that he does like a lot of his own work. Him and, I can't remember his friend's name, but him and his buddy, they do work at the shop. But what I really like is TJ's business acumen. Like, he has found this way of being like a businessman and really showing it to you, but not throwing it in your face. I think he's good for that. The next is Dustin Williams. I only stumbled across Dustin by going to a Tuner Evo show here in Houston in 2021, I believe it was. And he was there. They had him there, and he had his Legends booth set up. Dustin is a lot like TJ Hunt, but I love Dustin's energy. He's super chill, he's laid back, he's informative. He has his own shop, he does a lot of his own work, and it's not heavy build stuff with, really like bolt-ons. Just like TJ, he's a driver, so he's more of a grip driver, where TJ is more of a drift kind of guy. But I really enjoy Dustin's Japan content. You can see he has a real passion for JDM cars and Japan itself, even trying to learn the language. You got to check out Dustin Williams. Now, the top two on this list, I mean, number one's unrivaled in my mind, but I had to really think about it, because Adam LZ is who I'm going to put in second place. If you know cars, you know Adam LZ. Adam is a drift guy. All of these guys, you'll see, and these are probably my favorite channels, period. This category, like this kind of viewing. Adam's the same thing. He has a shop, he has a garage, he has the compound, but the way he films his content comes across as really personal. He connects with the viewer. He seems so down to earth. It's like you could just have a beer with him and just chill with him. The way he does the lap around the compound, he has really cool cars, and he's a heck of a driver too. But one thing I really, really, really like about Adam is just kind of like Dustin. They have like this chill vibe about them. They're just dudes. And I guess I like that. It comes across in their content. Number one in this category, spoiler alert, probably my favorite channel to watch, hands down, is Cletus McFarlane. Cletus has like the sharpest business acumen of any of these guys. He's so focused on content, and he shoots everything on iPhones and GoPros, which I think is pretty. Cletus has a program. Like we've watched him start with really 10-second, 9-second cars, and he has multiple cars that are capable of running 6 seconds. One of them that has run 6 seconds. And he has an entire program, an entire business. He owns a track, the Freedom Factory. And I mean, the way he lets you into his home, I'm gonna stop drilling. I love Cletus, I really do. One of the few people that I've actually patronized him and bought his merch because I think he has a really cool merch line too. Dustin has some cool stuff with Legends. I haven't ordered anything yet, but I do like Dustin stuff too. The next category I call vloggers. And I rank these guys to me are a little bit more difficult to watch. But I do think their production quality is a little bit higher. The reason why I say they're more difficult to watch is because of my personal taste. I like people that are just authentically themselves. It's something I try to do in my content. And I think these guys are more characters. Larry Chin is in this category. Now, the reason why he's in this category, even though I think Larry is pretty authentic, is because he started out as a really bad interviewer. I gotta be honest. I think he would talk way more than the people that he interviewed, but recently he's gotten a lot better, like so much better. I know he gets excited about the content, but his access is something that makes him amazing. His relationship with Hoonigan and Ken Block is kind of, I mean, his talent is what got him started, but I think he has access to everybody. He has relationships with everybody. Like, there are very few people that do more collaborations than Larry. Shmee 150 is probably up there. We're going to talk about him a little bit later, but Larry's like on everybody's channel because he's a photographer first, but he was smart enough to pick up a GoPro and just start talking to people. The next guy is Stradman. I struggle with watching Stradman. Super successful. His energy, the Stradman antics are interesting, but they work for the algorithm. Like, he's super successful, so I'm not arguing with that. I am suggesting that you go watch his channel because I think his car collection is really well curated. I think he has a beautiful eye for building cars, and I will say he's one of the many people, obviously, that has kind of changed the perception on wrapping cars. I think he does a really good job of wrapping his cars because he picks crazy outlandish stuff that triggers people that says, you know, the only thing you should do is paint a car, you know, it's a big sticker or whatever. He's pretty successful with the wraps, has some beautiful V12 Lamborghinis, and I think he kind of taken over as far as YouTube content creators. He is the Lamborghini man. The next person I have is Whistling Diesel. Cody's just crazy. This guy has shock value videos. He has this dry, witty sense of humor. I think, again, production quality for him is pretty high compared to some of the other guys. And the amount his videos have to cost, like the money he spends on each video has to be like the most of any YouTuber. The video of him flying a helicopter inside of his brand new shop and ultimately crashing it. Only Whistling Diesel. Check his stuff out. Dude is nuts. I think he's worth watching. I like to see him do more collaborations. I think he's done some stuff with Cletus recently with the Hamilton collection, but the more Cody does with others, I think the better for them. I think number one on this list, I have to say it, is Daily Driven Exotics. Everybody knows who Damon and Dave is. I will caveat that they can be a little bit clickbaity, but they have mastered the art of drama and clickbait. I love their dedication to filming everything. And they tend to get videos that just run. I mean, they have a big following, but I mean, they have some huge, I think some of their cop pullover videos have more than 50 million views. And Damon is a specialist at getting pulled over by the California police. It's amazing. You have to check out Daily Driven Exotics. Last thing I'll say is some of their car builds are special. The 720 GTR, the twin turbo F12, that Huracan Aperta that he did by taking the roof and the windshield off. You have to give them credit. They actually have an eye for building. They have an eye for content. Their production quality in the vlogger space, it's unrivaled. The next category are like mega channels. And what I did like for mega channels, I started looking at subscribers, but also like reach. To be in this category, your production quality is probably that of like studio level. Is basically it. And they don't really hide it. but you'll be surprised who's number one in this category. So the lowest ranked mega channel I have is Top Gear. And the only reason I ranked them so low is because their YouTube content has gotten better over the years. Like, they were using YouTube as a gateway to get you to network. I think now they understand the power of YouTube and they put a lot more long form content on YouTube. But the original three, without Jeremy Clarkson and Richard Hammond, I mean, those guys, and I love Chris. That's why I think I still watch Top Gear, and I think the production quality is amazing. But it just, if you started watching it like I started watching it like 25 years ago, it's something about the original three guys that you just can't replace them. They had a chemistry. The other people that are on this category is Carwow. I love Matt Watson. This dude does every drag race you could think of. He's at F1 cars, motorcycles, Porsche against Porsche, Lamborghini, every matchup you can think of. And he has access to so many cars. I think when I started watching Carwow, it was probably like 2.5 years ago or so. And they have like maybe 3 million subscribers. I think they're up to like 7 million now. And they're gonna be the biggest automotive YouTube channel, period, at some point. Their growth, his reviews are good. He has a good personality. I really enjoy Carwow. Number 2, Donut Media. If you're not watching Donut Media, I don't know where you've been. Donut Media is probably one of the best mega channels out there. They have the right personalities, and they do some pretty interesting stuff. D-List is pretty cool. Like, they have a lot of playlists. They give a lot of content out, but I think their best product is high-low for like car people. I think this season they did the Subaru WRXs. So they'll get 2 same-year cars and they'll buy all the best Gucci, most expensive parts for one, and then all of the Wish, Alibaba, eBay stuff for another one. And they'll like tell you, like, do you need to have like, you know, Olin suspension, or can you get away with eBay coilovers, right? Like, what is the big difference in the lap times? That is gold. Last year, I believe they did 350Zs. It was either 350Zs or 370Zs. And you'd be surprised how close. They don't do a lot of durability testing, but just like, you know, 1, 2, maybe 20 laps around a track, you'd be surprised how close the performance is on certain things, maybe not brakes and tires, but on other things, how close the performance is between like a really high budget part and something that's budget. Check them out. Last and most important, and I would put these guys just below Cletus as like my favorite YouTube content to watch, period, is the Hoonigans. And Kim Block is an honorable mention. It's hard to even talk about Kim Block. I'm not a celebrity starstruck kind of guy, but I really appreciated Kim Block, like his personality, his driving ability, just like the way he came across on camera. Like, he genuinely seemed to be like almost like a shy guy. And he couldn't have been a shy guy. He's CEO, like he runs stuff, but he was just talented, man. And the crew that they have, they've managed to keep that like small company feel. But if you know that there's 4 cameras that are actually shooting the guy that's standing there with the GoPro in the middle of the, the burn yard while they're doing donuts. They have one of the biggest media machines on YouTube, and they're probably the best at it. Hoonigan Extra is good. Everything about Hoonigan, their merch is good. Everything's good. Their builds, crazy. They do like crazy SEMA builds every year. I love Hoonigan. I hope they continue to grow, and Brian Scotto is a genius, and I hope he gets his just due because it's a good channel to watch. Check them out. The next one is Euro guys. There's some European guys I really like. I don't really have an order to these guys, so I'm going to mention them kind of like out of order. These are more like suggestions in my opinion. Shmee150, he's probably like one of the biggest in Europe. Seen Through Glass and Harry's Garage. I really like those 3. Harry's is quickly becoming my favorite. My former colleague and mentor, Keith, put me on a Harry, and I actually want to start doing more content like Harry does it. Like, he doesn't hide that he's cerebral. Like, I would say Harry is like the polar opposite of Stratman. Like, Stratman is a genius, and he knows a lot, but he knows his audience wants to see this high energy, crazy acting guy that's goofy, whereas Harry is like super cerebral. He's like the quintessential British man. You know what I mean? Like, tucked in, he knows what he's talking about, and he has a major access too. Shmee is similar. Shmee is like an encyclopedia when it comes to supercars, and his collection It's super diverse and cool. It's one thing I like about Shmee. Check out those 3 channels. Seeing Through Glass, same thing. They're all kind of in that same vein. Very easy to watch, and they create wonderful content. I did a category for shops, but I can't really recommend any of these to watch except Throttle. Throttle, I found them through Hoonigan. They put a Hellcat motor in a Viper. I think that's cool. I love every build they do, and all of their builds that they do, they actually like turn them into giveaway cars and give them away, which I think is cool. And Royalty Exotics, I think Houston Crosta, he's a easily dislikable guy, but he has some pretty cool cars, and he's really successful too. It's fun to watch like what goes on around Royalty Exotics, especially on the shop side. Last category are my hypercar collectors. Savage Garage, Randy Tillum is going to be missed. I don't know what's going to happen to that channel. I heard they're going to be coming back with some content. After he passed away, I actually unsubscribed because I thought like there's no point. They're not going to be doing any more rallies or anything like that. I had a soft spot for him because I'm a Marylander from Baltimore, and when I found out this hypercar collectors from Baltimore and from Maryland, it was cool about being from Maryland, super successful. It made me start watching them, and I loved his cars. The Ferrari collector, David Lee, he is super boring, but his car collection isn't. He has an amazing collection of Ferraris. And I would say on YouTube, he has the best collection of Ferraris that he shows. I'm sure there is bigger Ferrari collectors that have been on YouTube, but not with their own channel that show their cars. The Triple F, I just kind of got onto the Triple F guys. I love their garage. Like the house is crazy. Their cars are nuts. I'm not as up on their content as much, and I need to start catching up. But Manny Koshpin, I pretty much watch all of Manny videos. I like Manny's diverse collection. I love his interview style. I like that he can kind of laugh at himself. And he has an amazing taste in cars. Like he has true one-of-ones. And he does a lot of collaborations too with a lot of YouTubers. I think all the YouTuber guys respect all of his cars because they're legit. Number 1 is the Hamilton collection. And I struggled. At first I had Manny in number 1 place, but I will say Steve Hamilton is like the most down-to-earth gajillionaire ever. Like I don't know how many miles he has on his Bugatti Chiron, but I would imagine it's over 10,000. I think he said 14,000 miles in a recent video, and he said it might have like 18,000 miles on it by the time his SS is delivered. That's crazy. It's like the highest mileage Bugatti, and he lets it pretty much anybody drive it. But all the rest of his cars are super cool too. And one I just stumbled across because of Larry Chin was the Haggerty channel. So I didn't really have a category for these guys. I was gonna say like newcomers, didn't wanna make a really long list, but check out Haggerty. I love and Jason Camisa, who I really like, he's on there now. Larry Chin did a couple videos with those guys around Pikes Peak and some other stuff. They really have some well-shot documentary style content that I enjoy more long-form stuff. I know there's a lot of channels. I'm actually going to probably put a list right here. If this doesn't get edited out and you see a list, I actually didn't mind putting this together. But check out all these channels, and ultimately, if you made it this far, thank you. I appreciate everybody that watches the channel. If you like this video, like it. And if you know of a video that you think would be entertaining for me and the people that watch this video, comment it below. Put the channel below and I'll check it out. And maybe we'll do a follow-up video, who knows, to talk about some other channels that I may have missed out on. Also, subscribe. I heard a YouTuber say it recently. I agree with him. It's completely free. Click the button, makes me feel good about the content I'm creating. But at the same time, I just said there's people I don't subscribe to, so no hard feelings though. Man, you know what? I'm gonna do a little bit more content like that. We'll be doing some reaction videos. Also, keep a lookout for the documentary I'm working on with 808 Aesthetics. That's still coming on the Houston car culture. Actually, we'll have some, maybe my daughter's talking me into doing a build series, so we'll see if that happens. Stay tuned. Love you guys. See you in the next video. Peace.